Oh my god, the guy is dying. Hello there, good people. My name is Marco. Welcome to my channel. And in this series, I've been trying to create Python's projects for beginners. And today I'm at project number 5, which is Hangman, as you could have guessed from the title. And well, I remember playing it as a kid, and I think you're all familiar with the game. I mean, basically, you choose a word, a secret word. Somebody chooses a secret word. And then you have to guess, so letter by letter you guess what the word actually is. And if you get it right, well, that's fine. But if you get it wrong, well, that's 1 mark on the chalkboard. And when you complete the figure of the hangman, well, the poor guy dies miserably. Hanged. I gotta be honest, I had so much fun coding this one out because, first of all, it came out quite similar to what I used to play when I was a kid, and I'm pretty satisfied with that. And then I've used so many things that are very helpful for beginners beginners who are learning, but they are already in that kind of in between beginners and intermediate. In this project, I will go on with the classes for sure, because they are very important. They are the foundation of object-oriented programming. And I will introduce a bit of logic when initializing classes, which is probably one of the many reasons why you should love classes. And then I will introduce list comprehensions. They're extremely powerful and it's very important for you to learn. I remember the first time I've seen them and I just thought, what the F? I'm never gonna do that. I'm never gonna be able. But they're not that complicated. Once you get it down, it's just what it is. And last but not least, I will go on regular expressions, because one thing, the single most recommended thing for beginners programming when they are learning to program is regular expression. Sometimes they are chaotic, they're confusing, you don't know what you're looking at, but they are so powerful, they're so strong, and they can completely change the look of your script, of your code, making it look a little bit more professional. Why not? Making it look cool. Yeah, it looks cool when you use regular expressions. So use regular expressions. Okay, now that I've set up the project, we can start. As I said, I want to create a class, and the reason for that would be more clear later on. My class would be a letter class, and I will provide a fair bit of logic during initialization, and which is something that you can do, and which is another way that makes classes so powerful, and one of the reasons why you should use them almost every time. First of all, let's create the file. Now the file should be here, and I'm gonna go on and open it. Okay, as you can see from my code, the only argument I need is the letter. Then what happens is that the letter object will have that letter plus a display attribute, and this is quite important, as well as the default attribute. Display will basically manage the logic of whether to show a character or not. And in this case, I have used the if statement right here to prevent symbols to be treated as letters in the alphabet, because I don't want symbols to be guessed. You just need to guess the letters, either capital or lowercase, but no symbols involved. There are some words, especially in the English language, with spaces, for instance, or hyphens. So if the letter is not in the alphabet, it will be displayed and won't need a default. And you see, I am using a regular expression to do that. Just need to make sure to import the regular expression model right top and use the match method, which returns a match object. And if it doesn't find anything, if it doesn't match anything, it basically returns none, which it can be considered false in Python. Now I need words so that the game can become more interesting. Aha! Tree. I think I'm gonna need a few more. Okay, I found this list of the most common English nouns and I saved them in a txt file that I've called words.txt, and notice that it's in the same folder with my Hangman project right here, and this is quite important later on to open it in Python. This file has almost 7,000 words, and I think that will suffice. Now that I have enough words, I can open the file in Python, and it usually works something like this. Now you need to remember that every time I use this method to open a file in Python, it actually returns me a string. So this object, the text object, is a string. And this is very important because I can use all the methods for strings to the text. Now it comes the part when I want to get a random word out of this huge text. And I can do this in two ways. Actually, yeah, there are more than two ways, of course, but for the sake of simplicity, I'll just use two. The first way is using the split method, and since all the words are on a new line, I can use a regular expression to split the entire string, which is the text. And this will give me a list, will return a list. Then I can choose a random word in that list just by using the random.choice. Just remember to import a random module. Now here I've used the random.choice to select one item out of the entire list, but you could play it differently, working with indexes instead. I think it's a personal preference. The second method is something that I come up with, and I think it's a bit more efficient because if you think about it, the first method, you need to split the text, and this will create a list of almost 7,000 items. And finally, it picks a random item. So thinking in terms of complexity and memory management, it might not be the best solution. And I know what you're thinking. I mean, it's a beginner's project. What you're thinking about, you shouldn't think about complexity and all that stuff. However, I found that thinking of complexity for simpler projects is much easier, of course. This being said, when learning this stuff, it's much better to start from something simple than try to figure out the complexity of the A-star algorithm or whatnot. So with the second method, I try to solve this in this manner. First, I take the random method, which gives floating numbers between 0 and 1, and I multiply it with the length of the text. This gives me a random number that I will use as a start, so that it can start anywhere in the text. Secondly, I use the slice, namely the square brackets, because you can use that for strings as well. From the random start, in the end, I just put plus 50, and 50 here is arbitrary. My goal is to find at least one entire word that is not truncated by the slicing. After that, I use the split method, which in this case will only split 2, 3, maybe 5 words, so it's going to be much shorter. As I said earlier, the split method returns a list, and from this list I pick the second element, which has index 1, so that I am sure that I'm not picking a truncated word. In my opinion, this method is a bit more efficient and quicker, so I'm gonna use that for this project. But you feel free to use whatever you want, even come up with your own. After all, the ability to challenge yourself doing projects is what really makes you learn. So consider it a challenge within a challenge. Now that I have my random word, I want to create a function which will take the word as an argument. And first thing first, I want to create two lists in this function. The first list will have all the letters in that word, and it will basically check whether I won or not. So I'm probably gonna call it checklist. Every time I guess a letter, it would be removed from this list. So for winning, it's pretty straightforward. When this list is empty, I won. The second list will be made of letter objects and will be in charge of simply displaying the character. So either the underscore or the actual character. To create this list, I will use list comprehension because it's super convenient. I mean, instead of 6 lines of code, I can just write 2. And also it looks cool. It works something like this. As I said, the checklist will store the single characters in lowercase so that there is no difference between upper and lowercase, but it won't store any symbol. And this regular expression will grant me that because it will be true only when the character is a letter of the alphabet. The display list is pure and simple. it creates a letter object for every letter in the secret word. And since I have already provided the logic to the class, it will give a display value to every non-alphabetic character. Fantastic. So now that I have the word, the checklist, and all the other things, I just need to create the game. Now let's run it and see what happens. I just put the break here to stop it at the first try. Okay, so I see the underscore here, and here I have 5. Next time I have 7. Okay, so I see the underscores. That's how it's supposed to work. Okay, now I have basically to give the main user logic. So I have to receive the input from the user, the letter, okay, the guess. And then I will have the script do its due diligence, checking the letters, updating the status of the letter objects, and all this sort of stuff. Although this seems complicated, it's really not. First, I check that the letter from the user is in the checklist, so it belongs to the secret word. If it doesn't, well, you go back up top. If it does, I will remove it. And here I am recreating the list via this list comprehension to remove all instances of that letter. The remove method just gets rid of one element, but I want them all out. So I'm just rewriting the checklist, but this time without the letter I've just guessed. Then I loop over the display list with the letter objects because I need to update their statuses. So if the letters are equal to the user input, I just update the display attribute to true so that it can be printed, so that it can be seen. Alright, so this is the main logic. Let's try and run it. If I zoom in and I type a letter and just like this, I got an A, U, I. Okay, more or less it works correctly. Perfect, we are almost done. Now there is one fundamental thing missing here. Where is the Hangman? I mean, right now I can just keep guessing until I get it right. But when I was playing as a kid, I can remember the fear I had of this poor guy dying. So I wanted to win, I wanted to get that letter. When I was playing, I remember drawing the little figure on the chalkboard. And to be completely honest, I have no idea how to draw something with Python. So I think I'm gonna take the easy route, call it the lazy route. But I'm just gonna keep a score. I'm just gonna provide a score, and every time I get it wrong, I just subtract 1. Once you get to 0, well, sorry, the guy is dead. I'll probably start from 10, so you have 10 tries to get it right. And now the only piece of logic that I need to change here is in the while loop. So while score is greater than 10, is greater than 0, you can go on. I still need to check if you won or not, so I can just do it here. I can print the score right here all the time because I know how many tries I have left, so that the anxiety is a bit under control. Lastly, how can I control the score? Now, this piece of logic right here, this if statement, tells me if my guess is correct. So the job is basically done because I can just put an else statement. So in my case, if in the case my guess is wrong, I just lower the score. At the end of everything, if I come out of the while loop, it means that my score is 0. Therefore the guy is dead, poor soul. Just need to see where am I. Yeah, that is the indentation problem. And I might actually tell you the word. Sorry, lost. that's pretty much it. So let's try and play for real. Okay, let's see. My score is 10. Wait, let's start with the vowels. Good, good, not good, very not good. Okay, let's put some consonant in here. P, no C, no, S for sure, no, B, oh my god, the guy is dying. Oh no, T, what? R, okay, okay. Oh, no idea. Q? No. V? No. N. Oh my god. Overload! Oh my god. I didn't know that. Seriously didn't know that. Fantastic. So this challenge is done. And as you can see, it was pretty fun. Come on. And I'm pretty satisfied with the final result. So I'd say this is all for this video. And if you have any comments, just let me know down below. If you had any new idea for projects or any question about this project or previous projects, just feel free to comment down. If you enjoy the content, don't forget to leave a like so that more people can see it, and please subscribe. This will really help this channel grow. And also let me know if you like the format of this particular video, because I change it a little bit. I'm still calibrating, you know. Or if you prefer me coding while talking and explaining along the way. Okay, so that's it for now. I hope to see you to the next video, and stay tuned for more. Bye bye.